Paul Pasulka, Ivy Masters Learning Center at ivymasters.com. And today we're going to look at Test 5, Section 2, Number 4, which reads, the plastic hardens quickly. It allows the printer to build layers of the final model. So what we see here is a comma in the middle of what appears to be a sentence. When you see a comma in the middle, you got to make sure there cannot be an independent clause before, you cannot be an independent clause after. This is called a comma splice or run-on sentence. So the plastic hardens quickly, you got to ask yourself, could that be its own sentence? Yes, it can. It allows the printer to build the layers of the final model. Could that be its own sentence? Yes, it can. Now sometimes students are like, hey, the second part cannot be its own sentence because we don't know what it is. That's a pronoun. A independent clause is never determined by whether you use a pronoun or an antecedent. In other words, when you say it allows the printer to build layers of the final model, if you were to replace that with the plastic allows the printer, or whatever the antecedent is, the printer to build layers of the final model, and that's a complete sentence, then it allows the printer to build layers of the final model is also its own sentence. So anyway, answer choice A is what's called a comma splice. It's a run-on sentence. If a comma is in the middle of a sentence, there cannot be an independent clause before and after. We already determined the plastic hardens quickly could be its own sentence, so let's read with B in place. This allows the printer to build layers of the final model. That could be its own sentence. Gone. If we read with answer choice D in place, that allows the printer to build layers of the final model. That could be its own sentence. So in other words, answer choice A, B, and D are all what we would call comma splices. And the correct answer is going to be C. Why? Because which allows the printer to build layers of the final model cannot be its own sentence. And when we read it in place, it makes perfect sense. The plastic hardens quickly, comma, which allows the printer to build the layers of the final model. Thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, click like. You can share it with someone who has trouble with identifying comma splices and removing them as your answer choice. If there's any question you'd like to see answered from any official PSAT or SAT or ACT, leave that in the comments. I'd be happy to shoot a video on it. Click subscribe so you don't miss anything, and check out our 1 minute